checking in for the month of December. So much has happened since I last checked in with you all. I met with my coach. We focused on my branding statement, and it really gave me something to base my essays off of, so make sure that there's cohesion and they make sense and it's true to who I am. And so I've been drafting my essays. Some of them have just kind of flowed out of me and have naturally gone, on paper. Others have been a lot harder. I've had to draft outlines and kind of piece things together and start from scratch again. But I'm chugging along. As of right now, I'm applying to 6 schools, which I know sounds like a lot, and it is, but they're all schools that if I was admin, I would want to go to. So I'm pretty convinced that I'm on the right path. I retook my GRE. Unfortunately, I didn't do as well as I was hoping to do, so I'll definitely have to retake it, either right before I submit, or if I don't feel prepared, possibly after I submit, and then provide an update to the schools with my new score, hopefully a much better score. It's been a process trying to fill out the applications and going through them thoroughly and make sure I don't miss anything. Mostly focusing on my essays. Definitely that's where a lot of my efforts are going right now. But I was super lucky that my mentor was able to look over my resume and help me fine-tune that resume, so I'm super proud of that. Like I said, this month has been super busy, so I'm gonna keep checking along, keep writing essays, and hopefully soon, be able to press submit.
What's up, y'all? It's Tyler checking in. It's been a minute. Just to give you all an update as to where I am. First, excuse my appearance. I'm looking a little rough right now as I'm kind of in the trenches of finishing up work, preparing for the holidays, and finishing up business school applications. This journey has been gruesome, but it's been also very eye-opening, allowing me to really explore who I am, what's important to me, and what I want to do afterward. I am currently in the process of working on my essays and short responses, and this has been probably one of the most fun components of the business school application process, but it's definitely challenging. A lot of the responses have a word limit or they have a character limit, which really forces me to be direct. And so shout out to my Admit Me Fellows team and my Admit Me coach, who have really been helping to give me some good feedback to think through what's important to include, what can be omitted, and how to get directly to the point, showcasing my impact. So it's been a lot of fun to think through some things. I have a lot of stories that I can share, and so that's the exciting part. There's no issue there. I think the challenge is, because I have so much to share, how do I condense it? How do I make sense of it? And how do I share a clear story? So as I reflect back on how this process has been so far, there are 2 things that I was particularly concerned about concerning the business school application process. One was, how do I effectively communicate what it is that I want to do post B school, and even make a compelling case as to why I want to go to business school, given that I come from a non-business background. I come from higher education. I was a psychology major, so I was a bit insecure about that. But I think as I conducted research using Vault about what, for example, a human capital consulting is and what they do, and as I've talked to people in the industry, as well as my Admit Me Fellows coach, it really allowed me to create a seamless story that makes perfect sense, that falls right in line with who I am and what I value. Something else that I was a bit concerned about was, writing my or coming up with my brand. Like, how will I sell myself, so to speak? How will I communicate what's most important to me through some of these very short responses? And I was just reminded, all the experience that have had leading up to this moment have really paved the way for me to really understand who I am. And the positive thing in all this is that I'm pretty introspective. So I was able to pull out some of these things, and my team and my coach was able to really help me to solidify in some things. And so some of the things that we discovered and that was affirmed about me was that I'm a builder, that, I'm very entrepreneurial minded, and I can kind of see problems and kind of take those problems and come up with strategy and solutions. I'm also very values driven. My community is really important to me. My upbringing is really important. And those things are showcased throughout my stories and throughout my experiences. And then another key thing that came out was that I'm tenacious. So you all probably heard my story, a month or so ago, and I've experienced some really challenging moments, but being able to really persevere through those with the support of friends and family and mentors. And so those are some things that I'm bringing out in my application that I think in many ways set me apart, but also showcase the human that is the applicant. And so I'm really excited for the admissions people to read my essays, and I'm hoping that someone will see the value in all the things that I value and say yes. All in all, I'm feeling pretty good about the process, and I'm very optimistic. Looking forward to what's to come.
Hello everyone. So first I wanted to say happy holidays to you and your family. I hope you're having a safe and wonderful and enjoyable few days off. Today I wanted to talk about branding because I think this was a bit of a challenging point in the process for me, in the sense that when we're asked, how would you describe yourself, right? It's kind of that freeze. I don't know what to say. One part that helped me in terms of framing my personal brand was to think about my most significant accomplishments, but actually reframing that process or that exercise as thinking about how I accomplished those things, right? So what I started seeing as a common thread was my proclivity for being introspective and wanting to know the why behind things and being very inquisitive. And then something else I found about myself is leading with empathy and really putting people at the heart of everything that I do. Okay, so a couple thoughts on essays as I'm still in the midst of writing them. I would say the one challenge I'm currently facing is that there are a few questions that have arisen in which I have the option to either tell a story that I'm really proud of or answer in a way that would mitigate one of my weaknesses. That is still a balance I'm trying to find within my essays, but I think my coach has been incredibly instrumental in terms of providing a broadened perspective of how I should approach choosing which story. I'd also say a note of advice is that essay ideation can come far before you actually get to the point of doing an outline or any kind of rough draft. So sometimes when I wasn't as motivated to study for the GRE, I would pivot and take a few moments to just jot down random notes, thoughts, ideas, circumstances that popped into my head. And I actually found that having that repository to draw upon now has been incredibly helpful in the essay writing process.